Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's WHF. It's Sunday night, which means it's Division 1. My name's Andy Owen, aka Rage Quit, and I'm joined tonight as we head off to the wonderful track, which is Silverstone. It's a home Grand Prix. I'm joined by GB Sanderson. GB, how you doing? Yeah, absolutely. That would be a big shock if Cookie couldn't make it in time because of course, as you can see on screen everybody, we are at Silverstone. It's 18 turns. There is a total distance of can't hear GB. That's no good. Bear with. There we go. Right, JB, I think you're in the house.
There we go.
There we go. My bad, everybody. Quali is wet, race might be wet, unsure due to a glitch, says Ultra Titan. Anyway, it's Silverstone. As we said previously, welcome in, GB. Lovely to have you here. And looking forward to this one. As you said when I had you on mute, Cookie and Luxury not just with us just yet. Hopefully they'll be in for this 18-turn track, 5.6 kilometers in length. Not a great deal of elevation, GB.
No, not at all. It's built, of course, Silverstone around a former aerodrome, and yeah, naturally that means it's going to be quite a flat circuit. You see on the track map there the former runways that I think actually a couple of them are used for little test tracks nowadays. But yeah, Silverstone known for being quite a flat track. I think the most elevation changes coming out of turn 15 at Stowe and heading down the hill towards the pit entrance. There's a little bit of elevation change there, but yeah, it's a very interesting circuit, and certainly when it's damp conditions like it is at the moment, being run in intermediate conditions, we're seeing drivers just testing those out on the track, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one so far. We're not too sure on the weather, like you say.
Yeah, a little bit damp to beginning, so it looks like intermediate weather to start off with. Just to kind of run you guys through what the Tier 1 Championships look like at the minute for the constructors. Oracle Red Bull Racing leading the way quite convincingly at the minute on 87 points with Alfa Romeo on 52. In third place, it's Mercedes with 44. We've then got 27 points for McLaren and 23 for Scuderia Ferrari. Scuderia AlphaTauri on 16, 15 for Haas, Williams on 13, 11 apiece for Alpine and for Aston Martin, bringing up the rear. Over to UGB for the driver standings.
Yeah, and it's been another dominant start so far by Cookie, who, speaking of the devil, has actually just joined the lobby. So very positive news to him. He is dominating the season so far. 2 wins from 2, 2 pole positions from 2. The only thing he's lacking from a perfect start is the extra points for fastest lap, but he dominates it so far. 18 points clear of Cloud in second, who'll be hoping to make up some ground here tonight. Elsewhere in the top 10, you've got Ollie, the 2 Alfa Romeos, and Acura or Bailey. He is in the race again tonight, back reserving this time for Aston Martin, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. He had a fantastic drive from the back of the grid to second in the season opener at Austria, so keep an eye out for him tonight. And then, as you can see, the rest of them, JG, Codzilla, Michael Louis, and Billy and Penguin rounding out your top 10.
Lovely stuff, mate. Lovely stuff. Well, the action is indeed underway. And as we can see from my capture card, eventually, there we go. The one retired driver is Moser, who I believe had a quali ban this week, GB.
Yeah, he's serving a quali ban this week for readying up early on the grid at Hungary. And as you see, he has already retired, so he's respecting that decision by the stewards. We're seeing our first few lap times on the board, and they're very close lap times. A 100th of a second between Arrow and Jaden Lomax, which is then absolutely demolished by half a second by Billy and Penguin in the Haas, setting the early pace here in these somewhat challenging conditions, it looks like. I'm seeing a lot of drivers struggling for rear-end traction. It'll be interesting to see if everyone can keep it facing the right direction, first of all. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, early pace being set by Billy and Penguin, and you can see more lap times coming in as we speak.
And it's pretty close, isn't it? Like you said, Jaden and Arrow are 100th between them, and then there's less than 100th back to Coda Go Hard. We've got Codzilla and Conley, Craig Conley in the 2 McLarens in P6 and 7, with Jason Gordon setting himself a little banker lap at 142.
Yeah,
as Ultra Titan
goes
fastest. There we go. Or 35.8.
Yeah, Ultra Titan. We know he's quick around this circuit. He's quick around most circuits. He's a very consistent driver in this tier. He's been P6 in the season opener, P5 in round 2 at Hungary. So if that trend is anything to go by, we should expect a P4 from him here tonight. But yeah, setting the early pace there by nearly half a second, and as you say, some very close times on there. Encouraging start by Coda as well, another one of our reserves tonight in the AlphaTauri. He raced last night, if you caught that stream, for Tier 2 China, and had a bit of an indifferent race, finishing P13. And, well, this is certainly an improvement from P13 in Tier 2 to currently P7 in qualifying Tier 1. It's one hell of a step up.
No, absolutely. And what we tend to see, I guess, with these intermediate tyres and the wet conditions is people stay out for more than one lap. So Codzilla's about to cross the line. He goes 8/10 quicker, does he? Or was he just building up to a lap? It's a 1:36.8 for him. So he did go quicker, 7 thousandths of a second slower than Coda.
Yeah, it's a very tight gap there. You can see from Mallard in 6th, down to Arrow. Sorry, Cod in 10th. Ridiculously close. There's another person goes quicker. That's JG in the fry with a 34.8. So these times are coming down. Whether that's just people getting used to the conditions or whether the conditions are slightly improving, we'll wait and see. Cloud is about to finish his lap time and immediately goes quicker again by half a second, a 1:34.2. Very good early benchmark there from Cloud in the Mercedes. Currently P2 in the standings. He'll certainly be hoping to grab the extra 2 points for pole position tonight to start gaining back some of that gap on Cookie.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Cookie still sat in the pits, he is in the lobby, of course, as you mentioned before. Be interesting to see when he goes out. Maybe he'll just bide his time. 10 minutes left, of course, in this short qualifying session. We've got an Alpine out on track trying to set a time right now. GB, if you want to walk us through parallel Harry's lap.
Yeah, he's just currently flying through Maggots and Beckett's, as you see on your screen there. Luxury has joined, so we're up to our full 20-man grid, which is always lovely to see, a full lobby here in WHF. But yeah, Parallel Harry currently yet to set a time, coming down to Stowe. Very difficult corner to get right in these conditions. You see him there feeding the car through the corner, very nice and controlled on the steering wheel. He's careful not to lock up into the final couple of corners. He'll come through Vale and into Club. Round the corner he goes and across the line, losing the rear end a little bit, but still manages to go P3. So very good lap there. And there's quite a distance actually, after he was saying how close it was. From 3rd down to 4th, over half a second, and then from 6th down to 7th, almost half a second again. So quite spread field at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's what we tend to get when we've got ropey, wet, slippery conditions. We do tend to get, it widens the gaps because obviously some of the guys will practice in the wet, some of them won't, and some of them are just decent in the wet. What can we say? You know, there's some guys out there that are just born to drive in the wet. I am not one of them. I don't know about you.
Last night we had a bit of a difficult one with China where it was dry to wet session, and it was certainly a challenge. And I know China is known for being a bit difficult with tyre wear in the first place, but yeah, Silverstone can be one if luckily the walls aren't too close if you do get it wrong, but it is very easy to just make the track a little bit too wide and get your lap invalidated, which is what Arrow did on his lap time a minute ago. I was watching him go around. We're on board with Bubbo at the moment, who is currently P10. Heading into the final couple of corners, goes a little bit deep there at Vale. But we'll see what the man with number 69 on his car can do. As he crumbs across the line, he stays P10. He doesn't quite improve 3/10 off, but worth noting, 4 people yet set a lap time, minus Mozza, who of course has that quali ban, and they are 4 absolute heavyweights in this league so far. Cookie, your championship leader, Acura, who got P2 on his debut, Luxury, who finished P2 last season, and Ritzy, who got, well, unfortunately dropped off the podium due to a penalty last time out, but is undoubtedly one of the quicker drivers in this tier, so expect 4 very quick lap times in the closing minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And currently we're on board with Mallard. Mallard was just over a 10th up on his time through Sector 1. He's just about to go into Maggots, Beckett's, and obviously Chapel, then down the long hanger straight. See how he tackles this part of the track. One of my favourite drives through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel down onto the hanger straight. I do really enjoy that part of this track. It can separate, those guys who have more downforce in their setups to try and navigate their way through and make up some time there. I don't know how much time he's managed to make up in Sector 2, though, as we're deep into Sector 3, into the Vale chicane, round that into Club onto the throttle. Here he comes round that final turn. Over the line. He's made up half a second. Goes up to P9 with a 136.3.
Yeah, very nice lap by the Aston Martin there. And just behind him, just starting his lap, is Luxury, one of the 4 heavyweights that I mentioned a minute ago. So we'll see what his first lap time can be. He's invalidated already. After saying that, he has invalidated already. So he will go round and try a second try. Elsewhere on track, your next man looks like it's going to be the Alpha Tauri, I believe, at least. Yeah, the Alpha Tauri of Coda is the next man on a lap who'll be crossing the line, just coming out of Maggots and Beckett's at the moment through Chapel. He looks like he's on a very much a cool-down lap, so that won't be representative. Behind him is a Haas, that'll be Billy and Penguin, given his teammate has retired. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, but I believe that's just Mallard getting out the way of faster cars. Billy and Penguin makes a very late decision to come into the pits.
We've got Craig Conley on a lap. He was 600ths up, so needs a big Sector 2. Currently, he's over 2/10 up then, so that would probably get him up into the top 10. Can he put together a good Sector 3 as he hits Stowe? Goes round Stowe, seems to have a good line, a good traction through Stowe, actually, on the way down to Vale Chicane. Car gets out of the way. We had a small glitch there as another car appeared out of nowhere. Through the Vale Chicane, into Club. Round Club he goes then. What can this do? A little wiggle. And actually loses everything. Loses everything in Sector 3.
Yeah, that's cost him. That gap, well, that battle he's in at the moment over P9, currently held by Mallard's, very close between them. But then there's quite a big gap forward from them to Ultra Titan, currently sat in P8. Halo was in the chat joking that he's getting a nosebleed in the heights of P7 at the moment. He's certainly impressive at this early stage in qualifying. Halo so far, 1 race start for him. Last time out in Hungary, grabbed himself P14. So got himself points, but we'll certainly be hoping with his form in qualifying here so far, he might be able to get a top 10 finish tonight.
Yeah, so you talked about Coda Go Hard earlier on. He's on a flyer now. He's 5/10 plus up on his lap as he goes into Stowe. Captures Stowe pretty well. Gets good traction, as it seems good traction, as it did last time. Into the Vale Chicane. Out of the Vale Chicane. Down towards Club. Can he get a good drive out of that final corner to make a good time? Get 6/10 better. Up into the top 10. P9 for Coda.
Yeah, interestingly there, Coda really using the higher gears out of Vale at turn 17. He was in 5th gear coming out of that corner, and it is a very slow corner. So to be in such a high gear, you can tell he's really trying to find the traction by using those higher gears, but it's only worked for him. He has been beaten on his time since then. He's dropped down to P10 as I believe it was Luxury set a time to put himself up into P4, almost a second off his teammate at the moment though, so he'll be wanting to try and improve that if he can. I think the man to watch soon, I've seen Cookies on an outlap, but he is only coming through Brooklands at the moment. So, in the meantime, there'll be a few cars coming around before him.
Michael Lewis is setting himself a decent lap by the look of it. Let's just have a quick check on this Sector 1 time, because I did get a flash of a negative 1.8 delta then, but he's not at the first sector. No, it's 1.3, so we'll move away from Michael Lewis. Arrow's invalidated. Ollie J's up into P13. He's on a slow lap. Where is the other Red Bull then? Where's Cookie? He's invalidated.
Cookie's on an out lap at the moment, so he'll be starting in a minute. His teammate Ollie is currently on the lap coming through Sector 1 at the moment, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to improve on his time. He is 2/10 up so far, but certainly an uncharacteristically low position for Ollie at the moment, down in P13. He's used to being a little bit higher than that so far this season, been P9 and P10 in quali, but then ended up in P3 and P6 in the race. So he's certainly more of a race pace driver than one lap, and maybe struggling a little bit, as you see there, invalidates through Cops, unfortunately.
Well, there you go. I'm going to put you in with Cookie, GB.
Yeah, Cookie, as we see Craig Conley retiring from the session in the pit lane. Cookie struggling for traction a little bit there, out of the loop at turn 4, heads down the Wellington straight now. No DRS here, which he would normally have in dry conditions. A 29.8 first sector. The game will say it's purple. We'll wait and see if that is true as we go around, as at the moment you can see he's trying to catch up with Cloud's lap time, who's currently sat in P1, but Cookie so far keeping it clean as you'd expect from him. We'll see how dedicated he is through cops. Very nice there indeed. Keeps in 7th gear. So really forcing the maximum out of his Red Bull, getting as close to track limits as possible, using all of the track available to him. And now out onto the Hanger Straights. Just a few corners to go here. He is 1 minute 8 so far coming through Sector 2. And now he just has the final few corners to negotiate. What can our championship leader Cookie do on his first lap in this session, and what will likely be his only competitive lap time unless he gets a second one across the line? He goes P2 at the moment. He is almost half a second back from Cloud, so certainly advantage Mercedes as the clock hits 0.
Yeah, good lap that from Cookie. Couple of things to mention. Zampa, well done. Thank you so much for that 100 bitties. Much appreciated. And of course, I Racing League coming through with a raid. Party of 8. Good evening to you. Hope you're doing very well. Sun God, good evening. Much respect indeed for that raid. And of course, those 100 bitties, Zampa. Thank you so much. Right, who have we got then on a flyer that's going to make hay? Jason, wow. JG currently sat as...
Quickest,
there we go, 34-1. Wow, what a lap that is from JG.
That's fantastic. In the meantime, we saw Luxury invalidated on his final attempt, so he has stayed in P6. Titan has managed to go P7. Elsewhere, Luxury's teammate Cloud is currently on a lap and is 2 temps up, so this is going to be close. Can Cloud dislodge JG from pole position? He looks like he's going to be one of the last men to set a lap time. Coming through the final couple of corners now and up to the line. What can Cloud do? Can he take pole? He does! A 1:34.0 by just under a tenth of a second. Fantastic job by the man in the Mercedes. Gets himself on provisional pole with only a few men left to set lap times. You can see Ferrari's coming around the final corner. That's Arrow, currently P16.
Here comes Cookie.
P16.
Here comes Cookie. Doesn't improve. He was 1,000th of a second slower than his other time, and he was 2 tenths up, by the way, through 2 sectors. So a mistake from Cookie in that final 3rd sector. Nemesis says Cookie on a flyer. Yes, indeed he was. Halo, have you seen what the prediction was, Halo? Zampa's predicted that you're going to be in with a chance of a podium. GB, over to you for these final standings in quali.
Well, at the end of the session, as we say, Cloud setting the pace in qualifying there for Mercedes, puts himself on pole position, earns himself the extra 2 points that immediately closes the gap to Cookie to now 16 points in the standings. JG gets alongside him on the front row, and there is that title rival, Cookie, in 3rd place. Those streets somewhat of a class above today, as it's a second back to Parallel Harry in 4th place, and only 4,000th between him and Billion Penguin in 5th. Luxury in 6th place. Then you got Ultra Titan, Codzilla, and the screen has gone. They did not wait about for us today. We'll carry on as we load into this session, but certainly, like I say, the top 3, I haven't seen a margin like that in qualifying in this league for quite some time.
No, that's impressive, I have to say. To be over a second away from the guy in P4, that is pretty impressive. Now, we did say that there are guys that perhaps are a little bit better and quicker in the wet, but we're getting a little bit of weather information straight from Silverstone, from Northamptonshire. It's Ultra Titan that says the race is indeed all dry. Cloud on Cloud 9 says Sun God, and Nemesis Cruise is rooting for both Ritzy and indeed Cookie.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see in this race because there were reports there was potential of rain. It seemed like there was a bit of a glitch on people's computers in the actual lobby itself. So it'd be interesting to see how many people have actually put on a wet setup expecting rain in this race that then maybe suffer in this one with it now being all dry by the looks of it. But I'll let you know the rest of the order. So we got down to Godzilla in 8th. You've got the second Rebel of Ollie in 9th. Mallard rounding out the top 10. Row 6 is All Williams. Halo in 11th. Jaden Lomax in 12th. Craig Conley in 13th with Coda in 14th. Budbo 15th. Arrow 16th. Michael Louis 17th. And then you've got Qualiban Mozza in 18th. Acura 19th. And Ritzy in 20th. I'm assuming all of those didn't set lap times.
That's what it looks like to me as well. Interesting to see them from a setup point of view. You're absolutely spot on. Those guys that maybe were a second slower, have they got dry setups on? It's over to you, GB. We are 5 lights.
Yeah, 5 lights here at Silverstone, and we are underway for the British Grand Prix. And it's Cloud who gets a good run off the line. A pretty poor start from Jason Gordon, immediately coming under pressure from Cookie, who gets himself up into P2. And now, further back actually, Parallel Harry also having a look around the outside of the fry. That turns to the inside through turn 4. And he gets the move almost done. They're still side by side. Further back, there's been a spin for Coda Go Hard, who's down at the back of the pack. Lost it through turn 1. Potential contact there. I'm sure we'll find out on replay cameras after the race. But yeah, so far Cloud leading by nearly half a second. Really good start from him. JG's managed to get himself back up into 3rd place. And you got Ultra Titan and Luxury squabbling over 5th, Andy.
Yeah, what a good start that was by Cloud. And of course Cookie going up into P2. Jason Gordon sluggish off the line, and it's cost him because he's now 1.3 seconds already off the back of Cookie. Little squabble going on between Ultra Titan Luxury. They are pretty much side by side now. The Alfa Romeo, right, of Ultra Titan does indeed retain that position, but he's under pressure. Parallel Harry going through. Go.
Yeah, some great battling between those two as they go side by side into the penultimate corner at Vale. And it will be Parallel Harry who prevails. But Ultra Titan up 2 places on that fastest lap. Really good start from him. Make that 3 as they come out of the final corner. He gets himself up into 4th place, heading into turn 1. Brilliant stuff by the Alfa Romeo Stake, Sauber, whatever they're called nowadays, driver. Really good start from him. Elsewhere, also really good start yet again by Acura or Bailey in the Aston Martin. Up 3 places into P16 there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Williams drivers swap position. Jaden takes P10 from Halo. Not a great start from Halo. We'll just have a quick look now. Take an opportunity to have a quick look at tyres. To see what the strategies are. Cloud is on the soft tyre. Then there are a host of drivers. The next 8 drivers all on the hard tyre. 1 medium runner with Jaden with hard tyres for Halo. And then mediums and hards through the rest of the grid.
Yeah, really interesting move there from Cloud to take the softest compound tyres. There's a spin in the background. Parallel Harry and Luxury falling to the back of the grid. What's gone on there? Contact between the two of them. They were battling over 5th place pretty hard. Luxury without a front wing. There's also been, by the looks of it, a spin for Mozza. Parallel Harry only has half a front wing as we've got a virtual safety car here. But some big contacts between those guys. And that has dropped them all the way down to P16 and 17. And Luxury, what has been a bit of a nightmare start to his season after such a successful season 1, is a nightmare continues. He's down right at the back of the grid as he gets a 5-second penalty there for a collision with Harry heading into the pit lane. That will be taken off at his next pit stop, because I doubt he'll be able to go to the end from here. But virtual safety car out on track, that just neutralises the race a little bit. We get to take a bit of a breather and have a look at everyone as the virtual safety car ends and Codzilla picks up a drive-through penalty. That's torrid luck for the McLaren driver there, and that's going to drop him right to the back of the pack as well.
Yeah, so we see some mistakes happening early doors then. GB. Not good in terms of drivers who are winning so far. We've got Arrow up 7 places up into P9 in that Ferrari. 6 places up for both Acura stroke Bailey in the Aston Martin. BRL Ritzy also up 6 positions. 5 positions up for Jaden Lomax. 3 for Halo. 4 up for Ollie. 3 up for Titan. The big losers, of course, are Parallel Harry and FRC Luxury at now the back of the grid. And, of course, with penalties if you're Luxury.
Yeah, and it's worth looking now. You see, of course, Codzilla's going to take his drive-through penalty sooner rather than later. We've got another yellow flag further back. That's Arrow. After such good progress, he has, I believe, just spun, I'd say, on the exit of Chapel. He doesn't appear to have any damage. At least no visual damage. Hopefully no rear wing damage or anything like that. But yeah, Arrow, after all that good progress, he is back down to where he started in P16 and heading into the pit lane. So we'll wait and see if that is to retire the car, if there is potential terminal damage on that rear wing or not. But out at the front, Cloud only a second ahead at the moment of Cookie, which is interesting. To say he's on the softest compounder tyre, he really has not escaped that Red Bull at the moment.
No, I think Cookie's doing really well to keep that gap at just over a second. He'll obviously be desperate to try and get it under a second, but of course, with those soft tyres on the Mercedes, it's going to be pretty difficult. Be interesting to see how the next few laps unfold. And of course, with that starting strategy on the soft tyre for Cloud, how far do you think those soft tyres can go, GB?
Well, it depends whether what sort of mode he's going with. Is he going to look to try and save them? Because if he does, maybe he could get them to about lap 10, lap 11, something like that. Or is he just going full send and just accepting the two-stop strategy, maybe, and pushing as hard as they can? But certainly, interesting strategic plays going on in this race. There's a bit of a battle at the moment over P8, I believe it is. There's also one over P5. Billy and Penguin and Ollie just changing positions there through the final couple of corners. As you see, Cloud sets the fastest lap of the race so far. But yeah, that gap between the top two and JG is certainly growing at the moment. JG not quite having the same form he had in qualifying in the race at the moment.
Yeah, there's some interesting gaps developing, isn't there? Not only the 5-second gap between JG and Cookie, but also now 1 second as Codzilla does in fact retire in the pit lane after that drive-through penalty. Interesting decision from the McLaren.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was potentially some damage on Codzilla or something like that from the earlier incidents, because he was still well within the points. He was in, well, I say well within, he was in the bottom point scoring position in this league. P16 points go down to, so he was able to get some. We're hearing that there may have been an early ready up again in the lobby by Mozza, so hopefully that wasn't the case. If it is, then that's going to be probably another quali ban or a harsher penalty this time around, given it's the very next race after he did it last time. So certainly not good by the Haas driver.
As we see the Red Bull of Ollie making a move on Billy and Penguin down in towards Stowe, down to the Vale chicane. They go side by side. It's going to be Ollie that prevails, though, gets the inside line into the Vale chicane and therefore the inside line into Chapel. Leaving Billy and Penguin behind, who's got Jaden Lomax now within 1/10 of that rear wing as they head off into
down to Village. I think it is turn 3, isn't it? There's that many names at this circuit to try and remember, but yeah, these three really jostling for position as Jaden Lomax loses the rear end a little bit on the exit of the loop there at turn 4. He just got on the curb and lost it, and now he's almost a second back, so that has really cost him. But Billy and Penguin right up behind Ollie at the moment. This fight for 5th certainly not over yet, and notice out the front as well, you'll see it there on your timing screens, Cookie is just very, very close to that 1 second window where he'll get DRS. Keeps on poking in that 9/10 and then losing it again. So be interesting to see going down the back straight. Does the little flap in the rear wing open for Cookie? It does. He is within the DRS now. And I think we might be seeing a battle for first sooner rather than later. On lap 6 here, those softs will be getting worse wares sooner rather than later for Cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Cookie's done an outstanding job of just making sure that he's in DRS range. He's going to be making a move, absolutely, for sure. Within, as soon as he gets past him, he's in great shape because we know that Cloud will be pitting a lot earlier. Cookie may be taking those hards all the way so he can fly around on softs. Nemesis mentions in chat that, yes, Ritzy doing a good job up into P10 so far. He's on the back of Mallard. The two Aston Martins did exchange positions on that last lap. Acura took P8 from Mallard. Now Mallard's now under pressure from Ritzy.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of teammate working together there quite well. Acura seems to have the pace over Mallard in that race, and he's already opened up a 2-second window. So maybe Mallard just backing up the traffic a little bit, allowing his teammate to try and escape. But out at the front, look how close these two are. Cookie right up the rear wing of Cloud. Goes a little bit wide at Cops there. Just the dirty air unsettling the car through such a high-speed corner. But Cloud really coming under some pressure now as they head out onto the Hangar Straight. Cookie will get DRS, see the gap in the rear wing open. It allows him to get that bit of extra straight line speed. Will he look for the move heading into Stowe? He does. Down the inside goes the Red Bull. Fantastic move from our reigning champion, and that's him up into the lead of the race here on lap 7.
Yeah, outstanding that from Cookie. Not only getting within DRS, but utilising it to his advantage to get out in front of the soft tyre runner. Now he's out in front. He just needs to enable that consistency piece as we get a virtual safety car, actually.
Jason Gordon has gone off at the final corner. You can see him parked in the barrier.
With no
there.
wing.
I don't know if that is him out of the race or what's happened. I really, really hope we're not seeing a repeat of what happened in Austria. If you remember, he DNF'd as his wheel disconnected. He is not moving in that gravel trap at the moment, and I have a nasty feeling we may have had a similar thing just happen.
He has just got going. It is an unusual place to lose it and end up in the wall, that's for sure. Now he's got to do a whole lap with no front wing, and he's dropped all the way down from P3 all the way down to P15 GB. Not good for Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari having a torrid day of it at the moment. Their woes this season just seem to continue. Their drivers currently down in P15 and P19 at the moment. Really not ideal after such a promising qualifying, which saw JG on the front row. Is that a safety car? I've just seen on the map, it's telling us it's a virtual safety car.
Yeah, there is a safety car out on track.
Yeah, I'm just going to ride on board with Budbo maybe and just see if he's about to pass a safety car.
There we go. We've got the full safety car notification now.
There it is.
Luxury has served the 5 seconds, by the way. So before that move to full safety car, he'd served that 5 seconds. He's had a quick change. Let's just have a quick check up on strategy then.
Yeah, I think this is perfect for Cloud, if anyone, because those soft tyres are going off. He will have been needing to make a pit stop in the next probably 3 or 4 laps, you would expect, with how the tyres are going off.
Ultra makes a mistake. 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane for him. In comes Cookie then to throw on some medium tyres. Cloud, what's Cloud going to throw on? He's throwing mediums as well.
Also mediums.
Staying out is
mirroring
Ollie.
each other.
Ollie
will collect the safety car. Arrow is currently about to go past it. He is currently down in 19th place, but then the safety car will pick up the next man, which will be Ollie. You can see it elsewhere, all those tyres being changed at the moment. Almost everyone into the pits. As you say, the only person who hasn't so far is Ollie in that Red Bull, and he is on a set of hard tyres that could probably still do maybe another 10 laps at the moment. So there really is no need for him to be doing it. Doing a pit stop here at the moment.
Yeah, sure, and maybe maybe Ollie's taken the opportunity to kind of help his teammate out here as well. We've seen in previous excursions out onto track that teams work well together, and maybe this is the opportunity for the Red Bull to really help his teammate out here, Cookie.
Yeah, Ollie will know that Cookie is the #1 driver at Red Bull. I wouldn't quite say it's quite a Verstappen-Perez situation where there is such a gulf in class, because Ollie is a very fast driver. We've seen him pick up a podium in the season opener at Austria, but he will deep down know, I think, that Cookie, with 2 wins this season, is definitely the man to be going for that title. But you can have a look there. Everyone apart from Ollie and Budbo have come into the pits during this safety car period. Of course, Luxury and Parallel Harry with a lap extra on their tyres compared to everyone else, because they managed to get in as soon as the safety car was called out.
Yeah, some interesting strategies throughout the grid. Billy and Penguin and Michael Lewis on the soft tyres. Interesting strat from them. Maybe they're praying for another safety car in about 10 laps. But from this list then, obviously Ollie can't go all the way because he's got to come in and pit anyway. From this list, do you think these guys can take mediums that far, or are we seeing a potential 2-stop strat there?
See, I personally, if it was me at least, I'd be saying I wouldn't be able to take mediums that far, I don't think. But it's only 15 laps looking at it.
Yeah, by the time the safety car comes in,
laps,
it will be 15.
Laps now.
It'll be 15 by the time the safety car comes in, though. So maybe you're right, because they won't be taking too much out of these tyres right now.
So it's going to be close, I think, is the best way of putting it. I think the guys on the hards, the fresh hards, the likes of Acura and Ritzy in particular, I think they may be able to go to the end. And yeah, that might unnerve the likes of Cookie and Cloud, because we know how quick Acura is from the season opener at Austria. We know how quick Ritzy is from last season, as well as the opening races this season.
Sure.
Those guys on sets of hard tyres, if the guys on mediums do have to pit again, they're going to have to really push to make up the time needed to be able to make a pit stop here. But yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting one. If anyone can make a set of medium tyres last the rest of the race, you'd say it'd be Cookie and Cloud. So
for sure. So that's that's the current position when it comes to tyres then. In terms of position, when it comes to position change, the 2 drivers you've just mentioned, GB, it's Acura and Ritzy up 12 positions each, making an immense amount of ground and taking advantage of these safety cars. Superb stuff. And you did give me a little stat, by the way, didn't you, early doors, which was that
I certainly did. Can you
between
remember
2015 and 2020, 89% of all races have had a safety car.
Almost. 2022.
2022. Damn, I got the year
basically wrong. The same difference, yeah. It is a circuit that is well known for safety cars around here. We've seen some big crashes in the past, of course. A very controversial one at a certain corner involving 2 drivers that certainly caused some controversy between no
controversy.
2 fan bases.
No controversy, skill issue.
So certainly, yeah, it was a. We know about that one in particular, as you see safety car about to come in, you see it there peeling into the pit lane.
Yeah, here we go then. So we are about to get going then. It's Red Bull, Mercedes, Alfa Romeo and Haas at the beginning. When are we going to see the hard runner get the pedal down to the metal? Ollie JL77, and he goes. He's flying through. Followed swiftly by Cookie, Cloud, Ultra Titan, Billy and Penguin, Jaden Lomax, Acura, Ritzy, Halo and Mallard. That's your top 10. Billy and Penguin looks like he's been caught sleeping a little bit. He's got Jaden, Lomax and Acura for company, who's got Ritzy right behind within 1/10.
Yeah, a lot of guys sort of stumbling over each other at the moment. I think it was a decent safety car restart by Ollie, who is about to get overtaken by his teammate. They're going to go 3 wide here, going down the straight, and look.
What a move that is by Cloud. What a move by Cloud.
Move.
That's incredible driving from Cloud. Can't lie.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant driving by Cloud, and I think Cookie might be a bit disappointed by that one. His teammate didn't exactly do him many favours there. As we see a yellow flag further back, that is Coda Go Hard, who has gone round for the 2nd time in this race at Luffield. But out at the front, Cloud gets himself into the lead, and Ollie is starting to free fall a little bit. Ultra Titan has got past him as well, got himself up into 3rd place, but I was saying, Ollie, I think he got the best safety car restart he could have done, considering he is on hard tyres against much fresher mediums and softs around him as Billy and Penguin goes round his outside into Stowe as well. He is just falling further and further back.
Yeah, not a good
But,
strat this from Ollie, because, well, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but not a good strat from Ollie as Jaden goes round him as well. He's now down in P6 and he's yet to pit P7 and he's now yet to pit. So he will be having problems. He's not going to be around at the forefront of this field to help his teammate Cookie against the power of the Mercedes. Mercedes Red Bull out in front at Silverstone. We've read this book. We've seen this movie before, GB. What are we saying?
We're saying surely it won't happen again. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, but we have certainly seen this before of a Mercedes and a Red Bull doing battle coming through Luffield. They'll head through Woodcut and past the old pit straight on the run down towards Cop. So they're going to go side by side. It's a Red Bull on the outside.
Oh, there's
Mercedes
contact!
on the inside. There's contact.
Oh, and round goes the Mercedes!
It's happened again!
Incredible.
He's not out of the race, but he is facing the wrong direction and plummeting down the field. He's down to P11. It's happened again, Andy.
Incredible scenes here at Silverstone in Northamptonshire as now Ultra Titan goes to go on the inside of Cookie into Stone. No, he doesn't. He backs out, but this is now turned into some kind of race. No damage by the looks of things on that Red Bull of Cookie, but that was definitely contact. The Red Bull driver may well find himself in front of the stewards later on. What are you saying, GB?
I didn't get a good enough view of it, I don't think, to say who was at fault for that. It was certainly Cookie who touched Cloud, but...
Oh, and Cookie goes deep. Cookie goes deep, loses 2. 3 positions, no! The Williams of Jaden Lomax hits the back of Cookie. Stay still, Cookie, stay still. This throws the championship wide open now. We've got problems. That might be rear wing damage for the Red Bull, by the way, because Jaden Lomax, who now has front wing damage, I'm absolutely convinced of that. I'm sure I saw fiberglass. Yes, we have lost a front left end plate. Now we've got problems. Safety car's back out again.
Safety car.
That might save. That might save Cookie and Cloud.
I tell you who this does absolutely save. Ollie in the other Red Bull. He is on those 12-lap-old hards. He will get the free pit stop. Be interesting to see if any other drivers come in with him, particularly people on mediums and softs at the moment. Will they look to do another pit stop just to be a bit more secure on their tyres, or will they risk it to the end that this safety car might allow them to have that extra bit of tyre life? But I fully expect to see the now lead Red Bull of Ollie pull into the pits this lap. And, well, we're fully expecting Jaden Lomax to do the same to repair his front wing.
Yeah, absolutely. What a safety car restart. Into the pit lane comes Ultra Titan then. So him on the medium tyre. I fully expect quite a few of the drivers. Mallard stays out. Moser stays out. Those are the only 2 staying out as it stands. So we're on lap 14 of 26. Go ahead, GB.
Just hearing some big news from the Red Bull driver of Cookie, who you see there has just left the session. Over team radio, he's saying his controller is stuck at 50% throttle. He can't do anything. I have to restart. So he's having to restart his game at the moment. That is what he is doing.
Yeah.
But maybe that explains... I didn't see the contact with Jaden Lomax, so maybe you can fill me in a bit more, but maybe that explains why the contact was made. Maybe he was expecting that Red Bull to accelerate a lot quicker than it did coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, that's quite possible. We were on board with Cookie as he span out and then came back onto track, and Jaden obviously ran into the rear of him. It was interesting because I would have expected Cookie to be going a lot quicker through that turn.
Yes, potentially that explains what happened there. But torrid look for the Red Bull man after such drama with the collision before with the Mercedes. I'm having Vietnam-style flashbacks just mentioning it. But yeah, it's we're almost seeing Silverstones of old being relived in this one race. We've had the Mercedes and a Red Bull come together at Cops. We've now got the Red Bull having technical issues, like Max Verstappen did just a couple of years ago when I believe it was Sainz who won in 2022. Verstappen was dealing with technical issues on his car and only managed about P7 or P8. We're almost seeing the same thing again now, with Cookie having technical issues on his end. He's down in P15. What can he do from here? Because he's on fresh mediums, so he made sure his car came in for a pit stop before leaving the session. But now, championship leader, fresh mediums, 12 laps to go. We're still under safety car for one more lap at least.
Yeah.
How far can he push this?
Well, I think if you're the championship leader, if we look at the standings again real quick, Cookie out in front, 56 points. It's 38 points. It's only 18 points back to Cloud. Ollie in the Red Bull P3, 31 points. So I think we've got to assume that Cookie will be making decisions based around where Cloud is. He can still retain the championship lead with a good push in the second half of this race. Cloud is on the soft tyre, so Cloud's going to go to the end on the soft tyre. Mallard and Moser on the hard tyre. I would imagine that those guys will be sitting ducks. So I would assume that Cloud, you could almost automatically put Cloud on the podium, just based around what the tyre situation is.
I think this is going to be interesting between the top two in particular, because you see the differing strategies between them as well. You've got so the race leader, or the effective, what we're predicting race leader at least, of Cloud will be on softs, and Acura will be on mediums. As you see, Cookie has managed to get himself back into the session, thankfully, so he'll be able to take control of his car before the end of the safety car. But yeah, it's an interesting one, because Acura on one lap old mediums versus Cloud on one lap old softs. Those softs, looking at that first stint in particular of Cloud on softs, he didn't pull away from someone on hards. Right. And yes, I know that someone is Cookie, and Cookie is the WHF equivalent of Thanos. That man is inevitable. You know he's going to be up towards the top. But to Acura, we don't know too much about. He's only ever done one race with us, and that was an incredibly impressive last to P2 at Austria. So there's a lot of unknown going into this. As we see, the safety car is going to come in this lap, and once again, it's going to be a driver at the front of the field on hard tyres. So don't exactly expect the most lightning getaway here. We saw it with Ollie. He got a good reaction time. He dropped his teammate slightly, but then he was immediately caught back up again. So
yeah,
wait and see when Mallard goes here. He's got a bit of a gap. He's got almost a second already.
Exactly.
And he's
that's
just
what I was
going
going to
for
say. You have to just go when there's a second behind you. You just got to go for it.
He is gone. He's almost a second and a half. I'm not sure what Moz is doing there. I don't know whether that's strategic to try and help out people, but surely your teammate directly behind you on two lap old mediums will be wanting to get as good a start as possible. As we see Cloud going down the inside of Acura, heading into Village there, gets himself, that turns to the outside, but he's got the grip on those soft tyres and gets himself up into 4th place. And I expect to see another move right away here on Billy and Penguin as you head down towards Brooklands. He's going to go around the outside, is he? Not quite. Further back, almost a bit of contact there between Acura and Titan as they almost went side by side through Brooklands as well. But it's all getting quite dicey here at the moment. Worth noting, Cookie has made himself up into 14th as well, as we're going to see Cloud up the inside through Cops. Gets himself up into 3rd place, and no spins this time around.
Yeah, good restart from Cloud. A little bit controversial, I guess, from Moser, and that's cost him, really, because he's dropped back from P2 all the way back down to P5 as Ultra Titan now's round. Ultra Titan's round.
Ultra Titan and Ollie come together.
Yeah, another disappointment.
I don't believe that's... Yeah, I don't believe that's the first time this season that those two have collided either. It's not. There was a collision between them at Austria as well, towards the end of that race, that caused Titan to go round. And, well, we didn't see exactly what happened this time around, but we do see now Ollie into the pit lanes. No front wing for him. We've also got Parallel Harry in the pits as well. So disappointment for two very quick drivers there, in fact. But out at the front, you've got Mallard still in the lead for now. He has that Mercedes all over the back of him, fighting for the lead of this race. Behind them, you got Billy and Penguin and Acura also battling over position at the moment, as the two of them almost going side by side through the corner. But for the time being, Mallard holds on to the lead on his 8-lap old Haas, doing a very good job in the Aston Martin. And I tell you what, potential for a very good finish for the Aston Martin team, currently in P1 and P4.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's cars behind them with penalties as well. Now, just want to bring your attention to our championship leader, Cookie. He's up into P8. He's also got two guys in front of him with 5-second penalties. So let's just mark him down currently at P6. And he is chasing down.
Gone off in the background.
Wow. And it's Moser.
Moser and Bubbo come together heading into Maggots and Beckett's. I believe one may have turned in on the other there, looking at how that's happened. We have another safety car number 3 of the day, quick fire, and, well, will we see a lot of action in the pit lane here? I fully expect race leader Mallard, yep, Mallard into the pits, Cloud into the pits again as well. Is Cookie coming in? Cookie stays out.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
That is very interesting. Keep your eye on the top left of your screen, see what tyres everyone goes for. I am very much assuming it's going to be soft from now until the end. But yeah, very, very interesting there. Cloud was practically in the race lead by that point. He was all over the back of Mallard. Pits again for fresh softs and finds himself now down in P9 with his teammate right around with him as well.
Yeah, really interesting choice that. I would have imagined that Cloud would have stayed out. Ollie, Red Bull Ollie is going from bad to worse, driving too quickly under the safety car. Got himself a drive-through penalty now, Ollie, as he heads into the pit lane.
Hearing off Ultra Titan, some upset words, I think it's fair to say, over his team radio, saying, "Come on, JG, you are not that bad." So I wonder if maybe actually JG was involved in the collision that then took around Ollie and Ultra Titan.
Yeah, it's looking that way from the team radio. Honestly, I really don't know what's going to happen in this race now, GB. It's been thrown up.
Game. It is anyone's game, and it is, of course, worth looking. When you look at that leaderboard at the moment, Cookie, your championship leader, in P4. His nearest rival is Cloud down in P9, but on the better compound of tyre. And with only 8 laps to go in this race, it'll be 7 laps to go after the safety car comes in. That's going to be interesting and definitely one to watch. I think Cloud might have the upper hand here, but also worth noticing, Luxury, his teammate, directly behind him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because I think Cookie has possibly made the right choice here. He's got an 18-point lead in the championship. Now, he wouldn't want to lose out on a single race to Cloud, I'm sure, because pride takes over and we all want to do, we want to beat our rival. But damage limitation based around what happened early doors, maybe Cookie might feel as though he might have a penalty coming later on when the stewards take a look at that incident through cops with himself and Cloud. That might be at the back of his mind. He just might want to stay out on track, maintain track position, and just try and close out some positions up front.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. And speaking of potential penalties, I think Mozer might be visiting the stewards some more than one thing tonight by the sounds of it. We already heard that of a potential early ready up on track, which is normally punishable with a quali ban, but he'd already served one of those tonight for readying up too early. So we don't know if he's going to get a heavier penalty this time around, but we're also hearing Budbo saying that he saw Mozer almost take out Cookie on the straight, and then he got taken out by him himself heading through Maggots and Beckett's. Mozer's certainly been in the wars, and it's definitely not been an ideal start to the season for someone who came into this season with so much hype around him.
Yeah.
As a rookie to the league, he had really good pace, over 1 lap, certainly from the time trial submissions for the league. It's just not turned into it so far from this season. P19 at Austria, where he wasn't able to take part, unfortunately, because of his connection messed up with him. And then a DNF at Hungary, and a DNF here tonight. So, really not ideal. Yet to finish a race. Of course, one of those through no fault of his own. But, yeah, certainly not the ideal start to the season for the Haas driver. Speaking of Haas, though, his teammate Billy and Penguin is going to lead us away from behind the safety car for the second time.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Again, we've seen a couple of different strats in terms of safety car. Moser involved in one of those, of course, with that 1 second gap between himself and the leader at the time. Billy and Penguin is not going to have a luxury of a 1 second lead on the safety car restart because Acura in the Aston Martin is right on his tail. He's not bothering to warm the tyres up. He feels his tyres are warm enough. He's just waiting. He's got a front row seat then on the rear end of this Haas. When's the Haas going to press the go button? There it is.
Very late.
Very late. That's the latest I think I've seen at Silverstone, got to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't think it's worked out all too well for him because coming through turn 1, the gap is closing. It was 0.3 of a second. It's down to under 2 now as Acura gets very close to the back of his car there. Watch out for Cookie. There's a Ferrari going deep in the background. That's JG who goes... JG. Oh, his controller's disconnected. It's happened again. I saw him going straight on. I thought it was weird because JG is certainly not the sort of driver. We've got a spin in the background for Luxury again. Luxury, his season has been a nightmare so far. And he's down to 16th. But yeah, JG out with another disconnection. And he's just confirmed as well. That's twice in this race that his wheel has disconnected. So when we saw him off earlier on, the same thing had happened. Some horrible luck for the Ferrari driver. But out at the front, Billy and Penguin still leads the way by 1/10 of a second from the Aston Martin of Acura. And Cookie all over the back of them as well.
Yeah, I'm looking for Cookie to make some moves early doors here to try and make something happen. He's got Cloud now in P4 as Cookie moves up into P2. Billy and Penguin down into P3 after leading the race. And are we going to see Cookie make a move into the Vale chicane? We are. In he goes through on Acura to take the lead of the race GP on lap 20 of 26. We're about to start lap 27. Is all to play for the last 5 laps.
Yeah, it certainly is, but look behind. Who is in P4? It's that man in the Mercedes. Cloud is within a second of Cookie, let alone the person directly ahead of him. He's within a second of the race leader. It's that close at the moment. He gets himself around the outside of the loop at turn 4. Fantastic stuff there, just flexing the absolute traction that he has on those soft tyres. And now he's going to try and hunt down our race leader as you see JG, of course, leaving the session after his unfortunate DNF. And, well, I hope for his sake his luck turns around sooner rather than later, because he could have had some really good points on the board this season.
Yeah, got to get that. Got to get that equipment checked out. Got to get the equipment checked out.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for now, keep an eye on your top 3 right now. These are 3 very, very quick drivers. You've got Cookie and Cloud, our 2 title protagonists so far, as well as reserved man, the man from the Philippines, Bailey, in the Aston Martin. He was so impressive at Austria, and he has been so impressive here tonight as well. A fantastic drive by him. They've seen him gain 17 positions again. Another last to podium challenge almost for the Aston Martin, who currently finds himself in 2nd place. DRS enabled. Here we go. Few laps to go, Andy. What do you think's happening here?
I think as we've seen another, I think it's Coda's just retired in the pit lane, but we've also got Jaden Lomax round at the final turn, just about crossing the start-finish line now. What can I say? The last 5 laps of this race, I think we're going to see an immense battle between Cookie and Cloud. Cloud must get past Acura, and he will do right now. Makes the move, makes it stick, and here we go then. This is what we were waiting for. It's Cloud, it's Cookie, with 4.5 laps left to go. We've got a show on our hands, GP.
Yeah, absolutely, and unfortunate for Coda there, as you say, with the DNF. Another bit of an unfortunate race for him tonight. Further behind as well, it's worth noting, Ritzy got himself past Billy and Penguin and up into 4th place. He is also on the soft compounder tyre, so don't rule out the Alfa Romeo just yet, because yes, he has a penalty, but it's a 5-second penalty, and depending what that is for, we could see that get removed at the end of the race. But right now, at least, the attention has to be on this top 3, Cookie, Cloud and Acura, fighting for the lead of the race. Cookie and Acura on mediums, Cloud on the soft compounder tyre. We start lap 23 here at Silverstone, and is Cloud thinking of the move already? Not quite, he sticks behind through turn 1.
Yeah, I think we're in for an absolute wall banger. It's going to be superb. Jaden picks up 3 seconds. Majority of our field picking up those time penalties for track limits tonight. Obviously, we've got a couple of 5-second penalties kicking around there as well. Jaden's pulled into the pits. He'd had enough. He's had enough.
He's taken an early flight home, but here we go. Cookie defending there into Brooklands from Cloud. And is anyone feeling a sense of deja vu at the moment? It's just roles reversed this time. The Mercedes is chasing the Red Bull, and he is right behind, heading to Cots. Are we going to see a move this time around? No, we're not. I think Cloud has thought wiser of that this time around. As we see a yellow flag in the background, that looks like it's Craig Conley potentially having a bit of an issue through Luffield. But for the time being, Cloud stays behind Cookie. He will have DRS. And it surely has to make the move sooner rather than later. Those soft tyres won't be brilliant forever. And here comes the move around the outside through Stowe. He's gone off track trying to make the move. He's been pushed out wide, but he gets the move done. Will he hold on to that position? I would say you've surely got to give that back. You've been pushed off track and potentially gained an advantage there. But for the time being, Cloud leads this race on lap 24.
Yeah, controversial move. It has to be said, but here comes Ritzy. Ritzy on the back.
Ritzy wide. And Ritzy just sends it through the inside. Ritzy with balls of steel there after contact to just send it up the inside into turn 4. He gets the move done and he's up into 2nd place. He does have that time penalty. We'll wait and see what happens as to whether that gets removed. But is he going to go around the outside at Brooklands? Surely not Ritzy. And no, he doesn't quite this time. That would have been a fantastic move if he pulled that one off. But Ritzy here, he means business in these last few laps.
Yeah, he's shown himself a really good showing tonight from Ritzy. Superb stuff from him. Close contact again between these cars as we head through Cops towards Maggots and Beckett's for the 24th time.
We're 24 laps in. We have a 4-man fight for this race win. 2 drivers on softs leading the way with 2 very quick drivers on mediums chasing them down. It is all to play for. And I tell you what, don't rule out Billy and Penguin still. Because if these 4 collide, he is right there, rubbing his hands together, ready to take full advantage.
Yeah, Billy's got no dramas in front, no dramas behind. Couple of seconds either way. So he can just get his head down and concentrate on driving. Whereas these guys, it's a different race for the top 4. That is for sure. Cloud obviously going to be defending. He's going to be looking at Ritzy with a penalty, thinking he's okay. Like you said, though, we don't know what that penalty's for and whether or not it will stick and whether it will get removed or not. Cookie seems to have dropped off the back of Ritzy. 7/10 that gap now. And Acura just drops out of DRS. Might just have... Yeah, he's just about retained DRS to go down the straight.
He had DRS that time around, but whether he can keep it for the hanger straight will remain to be seen.
Yeah, so we're not going to be in close quarters as we were previously when it comes to Cops, which is upcoming. Cloud's going to go around Cops first, followed by Ritzy, followed by Cookie, Acura, Billy and Penguin. Ultra Titan will not be too far behind. Ultra Titan's got company, by the way. It's Halo and Arrow. Arrow, by the way, could find himself up in the top 5 with these penalties out in front. Looking good for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, Ferrari's day has been torrid up to this point, but there's still a little bit of a light shining at the end of the tunnel for them at the moment. Arrow certainly doing himself proud with this performance. He didn't have the ideal qualifying, but he has well and truly bounced back so far. Also worth noting, he may be down in P15, he may be 42 seconds behind the car ahead of him, but Ollie has been into the pits for a fresh set of softs. So potential fastest lap attempt incoming for the Red Bull driver, which is currently held by Cloud. So Mercedes currently gaining the extra 2 points. I think Ollie is very much playing the strategic game to try and help out his teammate here and stop Cloud gaining those extra 2 points.
Yeah, wise. I like it. It's a good move from the other Red Bull. Here we
Yeah.
go, by the way. Ritzy, is he going to make a move? No, he doesn't. He has to back out. He got so close to the rear spoiler there of Cloud.
Yeah, Ritzy is really sniffing around at the moment. You'll notice all three of your top drivers still have plenty of batteries on. None of their rear lights are flashing just yet. This is the last lap of this British Grand Prix here in Tier 1 as Cookie goes very wide through Cops there. He does manage to keep it on the back of the guys ahead, but I'm sure he might have picked up a warning from the stewards for that one. But onto the hanger straight for the final time. The final chances, surely, for these guys. DRS wide open for Ritzy. His light starts flashing on the back of his car. Is he going to be close enough for a move? Not this time around. Can he get it into the final corner, the last braking zone possible? He's going to be just too far back and out of the final corner for his first win of this Season 2 in Tier 1. Cloud crosses the line for Mercedes. Cookie will get promoted to P2 for the time being at least. Ritzy across the line holds on to P3. Acura taking fourth. Halo gets P5. Congratulations to the Williams driver. That is a fantastic performance from him. Billy and Penguin 6th, Arrow 7th, Titan 8th, Budbo in 9th, Parallel Harry 10th. Luxury, the wait for the first top 10 finish of our runner-up from last season goes on. It's 3 races with no top 10 results so far. 2 P11s. Mallard in 12th, Craig Conley 13th, Michael Louis 14th, and now we wait for Ollie. He's set a purple sector 2. He's coming through Stone now. Will we see him nick the fastest lap off of Cloud at the moment? He's got a 127.6 to beat. Can he help out his teammate and steal the final 2 points off of our race winner? Round the final corner he goes. Ollie across the line. I think he got it. I think he got it. We wait and see. But I think he got it, Andy. Let's have a look. Did he get the fastest lap? Ollie does get the fastest lap, a 127 flat. Fantastic job by him. And Ollie claims the extra 2 points for the fastest lap in this race. But what a race there overall.
Sorry, GB, I'm back.
No worries.
Minor audio problems. Take it away, mate.
Yeah, we were just saying that Ollie did grab the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. He set a 127.073, grabs it by over half a second from Cloud. So fantastic work by the Red Bull man to help out his teammate and minimise the damage done there. But what a race that was, Andy.
Yeah, superb race again. You know, the second week in a row that we've had a wonderful race. Cloud clinching it this time in that Mercedes, having started on pole. Didn't have it all his own way. Of course, there was the contact through Cops with Cookie, but it's the 2 championship protagonists leading the way. Cloud and Cookie, with Ritzy joining them on the podium. Superb race. What a good showing there at Silverstone. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get as many of our podium men into the party as possible. We'll have a chat with all of them if people are wanting to join at least. But yeah, really, really good performance there by all of the top three. Really, we'll wait and see with the stewards' reports of any changes that'll be made. But yeah, really, really interesting indeed. That race. I see Ritzy has joined the party. We'll wait and see if our top two are going to be joining us. But in the meantime, Ritzy, mate, P3, we didn't see what your 5-second penalty was for, so we're not sure if that'll be removed, but just sum up what was a very chaotic British Grand Prix for us.
I think that sums it up perfectly. It was just absolute chaos. I have no idea what happened in the majority of those safety cars that were caused. The penalty itself was for track limits. It was a 3-second. I did it for 5 seconds early in the race, but I served it under safety car. I might consider getting it removed because I got pushed off the track when I was side by side with someone. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it was just chaotic to be able to come from P20 to second place on track. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, good stuff, Ritzy. You had fans rooting for you in the chat earlier on in the evening, and you delivered a sensational drive. I thought at one point you were right up on that rear wing, on that flashing light of cloud, but just managed to pull out before the final corner. That could have been a little bit of a hairy moment. Superb drive, though, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Zandvoort next week. How do you feel about Zandvoort?
It's a fun track. I think it's a track, one of the better tracks of mine. I wouldn't say like it's a favorite, but like it's definitely a good one. So we'll have to see how that goes. Looking forward to it, even though it's gonna be less racing than at Silverstone, considering the tight and twisty nature of it. But it should be a fun track to drive nonetheless.
Sounds good. Well done. GB, anything to add?
No, I think you've said what needs to be said there. Fantastic race from you to go from the back of the grid right up to the podium. We'll wait and see if you do get that penalty removed. It may get even better for you from here, but we'll move on to our man of the moment. Cookie, unfortunately, not joining us, but Cloud, what a performance from you. The strategy there at the end to pit for the softs was certainly risky, but you pulled it off. Just take us through that race.
It was what is it? It was, I mean, I was a bit confused and everyone else started on the hards, so I mean, I knew that soft medium from a race I did like 30 minutes before this race. I knew that soft medium was the way to go. But at the end, I was thinking, I was like, okay, if I pit or if I stay out, I'm on 12% old mediums. But if everyone pits for softs and I stay out, their softs will be worse than my mediums by the time they catch me. But then I was like, as long as Cookie didn't pit, that was the only reason why I won, was because he would have had around 12% old tires. So I mean, it was a flip of the coin. It was lucky.
And it absolutely paid off for you there. I mean, we saw some titanic battling from you with multiple drivers tonight. There was one incident that I feel like we have to mention. We lost our minds a little bit in the commentary box over that collision between you and Cookie at Cops. It brought back some memories of another incident of a similar nature at that corner. What exactly happened through there?
So, I didn't think. So, like, I gave him the space, and I tried to turn in, and obviously, I'm not going to brake for the corner, because then I'm just going to, like, hit his right rear tire if I brake. So I went in there, and I tried my hardest. I tried to keep tight, but, I mean, the car's just going to run wide, and he just had the better line through there, better than me, so, I mean, he got around my outside, and I tried to do space, but he was trying to get back on track while I was trying to I was slightly opening up my row. I wasn't trying to give him the most space, but him turning in and me lessening my angle, it doesn't work out. But I mean, it happens. Like, that's what happens when you're really close with another person, pace-wise.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking about it in the lead up to Cops. And I do believe GB said that lightning doesn't strike twice. However, we did get a lightning strike in exactly the same place with exactly the same constructors, but in a slightly different order. Interesting to see the race from start to finish aside. The you guys put on a show pretty much every single week, and it's an absolute pleasure not just to watch it but to commentate on it. How do you feel about moving on to Zandvoort next week after claiming this win?
Zandvoort's gonna probably be a pretty good race for me. I mean, I don't struggle at Zandvoort, so I'm looking forward to it. But Cookie's definitely gonna be very fast, so I mean, I would have to step up my game from what I am usually going through to Zandvoort. I think it's gonna be minimum P2.
Minimum P2, okay. And are you a driver? Because it's always interesting for us drivers that aren't quite as quick. Holding my hand up and waving here. Do you guys that are real quick, are you going to go out and do a bunch of practice for Zandvoort, or are you kind of pretty settled on what you're going to have in terms of setup and strat?
Yeah, I mean, most of us, like, we've already raced around most of these tracks, so we already have our setups and stuff. So we're already ready. And I mean, I feel like after doing it so many times, we just kind of know what to do and how to do it. So we usually don't struggle at tracks we already know, so we don't have to prep as much.
It must be very nice being incredibly quick. Congratulations again, Cloud. Absolutely
We've had an
superb.
influx of people join us in the meantime. After I offered up podium interviews, everyone decided we want podium interviews. But the one person I did want to speak to in particular was Billiam, because your race, it seems you were always around the front, but never quite in that top battle. Were you just sort of hoping for the the guys ahead of you to be binning it into each other?
Yeah, to be fair, I think I qualified a bit out of position because of the wet qualifying. I seem to be a bit better at qualifying in wet than I am in a dry, so that put me up there, and I knew I wasn't going to compete for first, so somehow I managed to get into first because of all the safety cars, but I knew that wasn't going to last, so I was just hoping possibly to get a podium, but then the penalties added up.
Well, you still got P5, which is a fantastic result. Was it P5 or so? Was it Halo?
Oh no, it was P6 because of the penalties.
Ah, yes. Yeah, Halo managed to get P5 and unfortunately wasn't able to join, but I said, what a race from him, what a race from yourself as well, because you were very consistent last season. You were one of the very underrated drivers, I thought, last season, of consistently getting that sort of top 8 every single race. This season, you've started pretty much in the same vein, P7 and P6 last 2 races. Do you think you could be that sort of consistent person again this season and be, up there again come the end of the season?
I'm definitely hoping so, but I'm not able to put as much practice in just because of like work and all that. But I'm definitely hoping so, as long as I can keep it clean on most tracks, but there are quite a few tracks coming up that I'm not too good at. Zandvoort being one of them, so it all depends on the track, really.
Andy, were you gonna ask something?
Yeah, sure. I was just obviously having to think about your race, Penguin. That second safety car restart when Moser had left a little bit of a gap out in front of him, and the car out in P1, which I forget now, got away cleanly. You managed to stick close to Moser, get past him before there was carnage and terror throughout the rest of the grid. So well done on that. Great drive from you. You mentioned Zandvoort, you're not going to get a great deal of practice in. Is it one you've done previously? Have you raced Zandvoort a lot, or is it kind of like one of those tracks it's a bit meh? You're not too sure about it?
Yeah, definitely not too sure. I've done a little bit of practice and raced in previous seasons, but again, it's not one of my greatest. I'll try and put a bit more practice into it, but I don't have high hopes.
Neither do I when I head to Zandvoort, I'll be honest. But well done, mate. Really good drive. It's a pleasure calling the race as you flew round in... You were in the Haas, weren't you? Yes, you were in the Haas.
Yep. Thanks for that.
Good stuff, mate. Well done.
And the other 3 people that took up the invite and just You know what? Just free for all. Say what you want to say about your races. Titan, we saw you were back up at the front yet again in that race. Sort of battling away constantly around that sort of P5 mark. Was that sort of what you were expecting?
I was hoping for more, but I had an incident with JG, which kind of was both of our fault, more of a racing incident. But that put me right at the back, and then had to pit for softs at the end just to try and claw something back. But yeah, I mean, pace-wise, it wasn't bad at all. It was definitely, with more luck, could have been higher up. But yeah, not too bad overall. Quite happy with it.
Yeah, there was
Very
a decent race all round, I think, from a lot of drivers. There were a few incidents that saw people drop from some of the higher echelons down towards the back, and obviously I saw you plummeting at one point after that incident with JG. That will be all in the past, though, as we head over to Zandvoort, the Netherlands Dutch Grand Prix. How do you feel about that track?
That will be one of my better tracks for sure.
Okay.
Definitely one of my better ones.
Good to hear. What makes it one of your better tracks?
I don't know. I think just big balls, that's it.
Big balls.
Yeah.
Big balls. Tight circuit, big balls. That's what we like to hear, because guess what? WHF means you have to have fun. And if you've got big balls, you're definitely having a lot of fun, certainly around Zandvoort. Good stuff. Good drive. Well done. Look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week.
I was just wondering what that conversation was about to become towards the end of that.
Well, you know, it's one to clip. It's one to clip and it's definitely going to the highlights.
And last two, if we've just about got time, I know you might have to rush off, Andy, but
Well, we're
Arrow,
actually,
Ollie.
we're just about, by the look of it, we're just about to raid Yarno.
very nice.
We have got a raid starting. We have Fun F1 is going to raid Yarno in about 30 seconds, so we've got time for one more chat.
Arrow, Ollie, go. Do your stuff.
Crashed multiple times at the start, and then the safety car at the end kind of just made me jump everyone, because everyone thought, oh, on fresh softs we'll jump everyone, but then I thought track position here is actually way more key than you think, so I just stayed out. And then unfortunately couldn't get Halo at the end, and if I had got Halo at the end, then I maybe would have got Jump Billion as well. And then I completely bottled Maggots and Beckett's on the final lap and almost lost out to Ultra as well. So thank God at least I didn't lose another position.
No, you did well though, mate. It looked like obviously you'd had a torrid time for the majority of the race, but you fought back. It was a great recovery drive from you. Well done.
Cheers.
I think that's it, guys. I think we are 2, 3, 4 seconds away from going visiting Yarno. So make sure you stick around and go say hello to Yarno for us. There it is.
There we go. Lovely. That was chaos.